Hello guys, so if you're watching this, you're probably already working on the packet for makeup work. It's gonna be pretty easy. I'm just gonna show you how do I want the work to be done. If the work is done a different type of way, then I'm not actually gonna give you the credit. Or if you just put the answers, I'm not gonna give you the credit because you're not putting any effort. So let's go ahead and start with this, okay? So there's gonna be two type of problems for the first one. So this is just the first page. It's gonna be called factoring, okay? We're just gonna factor. So we look at number one. So for number one, there's a couple things that we need to do before we do anything. We have a 6, a 54, and 120. So what we need to do, all of those numbers are divisible by 6. So before I can even start this problem, because this is only going to be for the first page, okay? Before I need to start with this problem, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to be taking out that 6. So this is how we do it. We're going to go ahead and put the 6 on the outside, and we're going to simplify my trinomial. I'm going to go ahead and divide all of those numbers by 6. 6 divided by 6 is going to be x squared. 54 divided by 6 is 9x. And finally, 120 divided by 6 is just 20. We have everything. We already simplified my trinomial. Now all I have to do, because I don't have anything in the front anymore, I'm just going to go ahead and look at the 20 and simplify that one. Okay? Well, not necessarily simplify. We're going to break it down into two numbers that if I multiply, give me 20. So 1 and 20. 2 and 10. 3 doesn't have 1. 4 and 5. So I have everything that I need. I have all my factors. And all I need to do is decide which one, if I add them, is going to give me that positive 9. And I only have one option to pick from. So it's got to be the 4 and the 5. Now I just need to go ahead and write my two factors. So it's just going to be x plus 4 and x plus 5. That is it. That's all I want you guys to show me whenever you're doing this factoring worksheet, the very first one. Just show me the factors, which ones you're getting, and show me which one you selected to be your two binomials. And that's it. So my answer is this. Don't forget to square your answers. Just makes it easier whenever I grade. But yeah, that's the first one. Let's go ahead and do number 2. Or number 3. Can't even tell my numbers. So number 3, again, we don't have anything in the front, so we're just going to be looking at this 30. What gets me 30? 1 and 30. 2 and 15. And 3 and 10. That's as far as I'm going to go. Main reason is because I already know which factors I'm going to be using. Now, 30 gets me 31. Or 1 and 30 gets me 31 if I add them. 2 and 15 gets me 17. And 3 and 13 gets me the 13 that I need. So I know my two factors I'm going to be using are the 3 and the 10. And I'm going to go ahead and write it. So x plus 3. And x plus 10. We are done with that one. And that's it. That's how you're going to be showing me the work for the very first page. This is the second page, and this is how you need to do them. Okay, so it's still factoring, so we're still finding our two binomials, but we're going to do it slightly different now. I'm going to go ahead and do 12, just because I don't want to work with big numbers, and I want you guys to try number 11 by yourselves. So we have number 12 right here. As you can see, 6, 15, and 9, technically, all of them are divisible by what number? 3. So I'm going to go ahead and take out a 3 before I do anything. I'm going to take out a 3. So that turns into a 2n squared minus 5n plus 3. Okay, so make sure you always verify your numbers. See if you can divide anything by anything. And in this case, we were able to. So we were able to divide everything by 3. Now let's do step number 2, which is just finding the binomials of this trinomial, which shouldn't be too difficult. First, whenever you have a number in the front and in the back, you're going to multiply those two. Okay, so I'm going to multiply the 2 and the 3 together, which is going to give me a 6. Now I'm looking for factors of 6. That if, just factors of 6. If I multiply, it gives me 6, but if I add them, it's going to give me the negative 5. So I have 1 and 6 and 2 and 5. What? No, not 2 and 5. My bad. 2 and 3. So that's going to be 2 and 3, right? That gives me 6 if I multiply. Now I need to decide which one is going to give me a positive 6 if I multiply, but if I add them, it gives me a negative 5. So let's see. I need a negative 5, right? So technically, I can make this one a negative. That gives me negative 5 whenever I add it. This one, I can make them both negative, and that gives me negative 5. Now, it's up to me to decide if it applies to the final row. Now, 1 times 6, negative 6, is going to give me a negative 6 over here, which is not what we want. So we can't be using that one. So the only one that we can actually use is a negative 2 and a negative 3. So let's go ahead and write my two factors. So it's going to be 3, because we already had it outside. And then we're going to write our n minus 2 and n minus 3. Now, before I even stop there, there's one last step that I need to do. Due to the fact that we had a number right in the front, I'm going to divide this 2 by a 2. So now we're going to have 3. If you can simplify the fraction, simplify. So this is going to be n minus 1. And the other one is going to be 2n minus 3. We cannot simplify that one, so that one's we're just going to have to go ahead and simplify it. And that's going to be my answer for this one. That's how you're going to be showing me the work for the second paper. Find your factors, right? But first, make sure if you can factor something out, factor it out. So simplify your trinomial. After you simplify your trinomial, you're going to be looking for your two numbers, or your two numbers that equal your a times c, which in this case is 6. Once you find all your factors, you're going to decide which one you need to, whenever you add them, gives you the middle number, which is b in this case, this one. Once you have all that set up, you set up your answer like we did over here. But never forget to divide by 2. Or not necessarily divide by 2, divide by 8. So you're going to be dividing by 8. In this case, it was 2. So it gave me all of this. So make sure your work has to look very similar to this. If it looks completely different, I will not take the assignment. Now we're going to go to page number 3. Okay, so this is page number 3. You're going to see the first problem, which is I'm just going to pick 21. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to simplify this expression, which is basically meaning that I'm going to have to multiply 2 of my fractions, okay? Now, if you remember from class, this should be pretty easy. First, we need to make this into one fraction. So I'm going to connect my fractions right here, put a multiplication symbol here, symbol here. If I have anything on the top and on the bottom, I'm going to go ahead and cancel it out. But before I do anything, I can simplify 10r minus 60 by taking out a 10. I'm going to be taking out a 10, which is just going to reduce everything by 10. So it's going to be r minus 6. There we go. Now we don't care about the bottom one, so I'm going to go ahead and delete all of this. Okay, there we go. We don't care about that. We only care about... I'm going to rewrite it just so you can really see what I'm doing. 10, parentheses, r minus 6, parentheses, and I just cancel anything that's on the top and the bottom. So I'm going to cancel this 10, that 10. What else can I cancel here? I'm going to cancel this r minus 6 and this r minus 6. As you can see, my only thing that I'm going to have is the two things on the top. So I'm going to have it 10 and also an r. So my answer is just 10r. Pretty easy. So for this one, I'm going to be a little bit more lenient with the showing the work. Now, as long as you show me what you're canceling out with what, and you can factor correctly like I did over here, I'll go ahead and give you the benefit of the doubt and say that you did it. So just show me that you can factor something out, simplify something, and then that you can cancel on the top and the bottom. Pretty much that's all the work that you really have to show me, which is not a lot for this one. So this work is actually pretty easy. We are on page number 4, and this is how I want to see your work. Now let's look at 31. All you really have to do for this problems is that you need to have the same denominator. Right now we have different denominators. I have what? P minus 2, and then I have P plus 1. So what we're going to have to do, we're going to have to go ahead and simplify those two. And the way that we're going to do this is just by cross multiplying, but what I'm going to show is the way that I like to do it. Now over here on this side, on my right side, I know that I'm missing a P minus 2 on the bottom. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put P minus 2 on the bottom, and I'm going to multiply that. But what I did to the bottom, I have to do to the top. So P minus 2. Now let's go ahead and go to the other side. Let me erase this. The 31. That way I can go ahead and write my thing that I'm going to be multiplying the side. So it's going to be another fraction. Now over here on my left side, I know that I'm missing the P plus 1. So guess what I'm going to be multiplying by? P plus 1. And also on the top, P plus 1. Okay, I'm going to put in parentheses just so I know all of that comes as a unit. And now my trinomials, or my denominator is going to be everything that I see on the bottom right there. So I already know that's my denominator. All I need to figure out is what's going to go on the top. And that's pretty easy. You're always going to distribute whatever you have on the top of your fraction with this too. So it's going to multiply with 1 and then multiply with P. And that's it. So I'm going to have on the top 3P plus 3. Now we're going to be doing the same thing with 4. It's going to multiply to that guy, but make sure you look at the minus. And you only do this whenever you have a minus, so I'm going to go ahead and change the sign. So it's going to be negative 4P and positive 8. Because two negatives make it positive, so that's pretty nice. And we just need to go ahead and simplify. So I know this one combines with that, and this one combines with that. So this is going to give me negative 1P plus 11. And guess what? We're done. Because we already know what my denominator is. It's just going to be P plus 1. I don't know what I put 2. Plus 1 and P minus 2. Right there. Can I simplify anything on top? Not really, so that's just my answer right here. And we're done. So basically, that's all the work that you got to show me. Show me that you're distributing, like I'm doing right here and right here. Show me that you know how to combine your like terms. And then just rewrite your answer. All right, so make sure you just show me this type of work, and you should be able to create credit for this one. Okay, we did this a while ago, but this is one of the easiest ones that you can do. So this is adding and subtracting polynomials, okay? In other words, you just combine like terms. So if you're watching this video, do this one. This one's an easy one. So let's look at what we have here. So I have, let's start from a highest degree. I have what? K to the fourth power, and I have K to the fourth power right here. Then we're gonna go down. So I'm looking for K to the third, and then K to the third. And then guess what? I have my numbers, and I have my numbers. So that's what I'm going to be combining with what. Okay, so it's pretty easy. Not a lot of stuff's going to go on this one. So we just combine it. So either I can rewrite it, or I can just go ahead and kind of do it one by one. I'm going to go ahead and rewrite the whole thing. That way you can see it. So it's going to be 5K to the fourth power minus 7K to the fourth power. And then, oh, I am wrong. Don't forget. I almost forgot. There's some minus right there. That means that this one, and this one are going to change signs. So that's actually a positive 7. 4K. So now let's go ahead and go to the second one. It's minus 4K to the third power. And then minus 4K to the fourth power. Again. And then finally, it's going to be plus 3 plus 5. There we go. We just combined like terms. So those two are going to combine. So that's going to give me 12K to the fourth power minus those two, which is 8K to the third power. And finally, combine those two plus 8. And that's it. That is all you have to show me, literally, on your paper. That's it. Just show me that you know how to combine your like terms, and You should be good. That's all the work that I need to see whenever you're doing this. Again, do not just show me the answers because I cannot give you credit for something that you didn't even do. All right, show me that you're doing some work. Show me that you're doing some effort on here. That way it's easy for you and you just get that extra makeup or those free hundreds that I'm giving for this assignments, okay? So it should be pretty easy. Let's go to the next one. This one should be relatively easy. It's the FOIL method, okay? So this is FOIL. We're doing the FOIL, okay? FOIL method. So first, and then outers, and then inners, and then last, okay? So let's go ahead and do that. So this is pretty easy. I'm going to color coordinate this one because this one people still get confused. I'm going to grab that 7, multiply with the n, and then multiply with a -4. After I finish doing that, I'm going to do the same, but with the 4 instead. So 4 times n and 4 times -4. Once you do it, you just put it all together and combine your like terms. So let's go ahead and do it. 7 times n is 7 n squared. There we go. Now 7 times 4 is -28n. Now 4 times n is going to be 4n. And finally, 4 times 4 is, in this case, -16. For this problem, whenever you do FOIL, you always combine the two in the middle. So -28n plus 4n is going to give me -24n. And everything else stays the same. And that is my answer. I don't have to do much with this one, okay? So it's pretty easy. Show me your lines while you're multiplying with what, and then go ahead. I want to see all the separate things that you get from your multiplication, and then combine your like terms. That's all I want to see. It's not a lot of work for this one either. It's pretty easy. And all of them are basic binomials. I made it easier for a reason because I want to make sure you guys are able to do this assignments. That is it for this one. Okay, I'm pretty sure we're almost done, so this is going to be synthetic division. Now, a lot of people forgot how to do this, but whenever you do synthetic division, number one thing that you always got to do a big L. Just like this. Big L. So there's going to be a couple things that we're going to be putting on the inside and on the outside. So first, we got to look at your small binomial. And we got to be looking at the number specifically. Now, that number is going to go over here on this side, on the outside. But we have to get the opposite of whatever it says there. So this one, instead of being -2, it's going to be +2. Now, on the top, it's easy. You just have to write whatever numbers you have inside of your letters. Or if it's your constant, you just write the constant. So in this case, we're going to have a 1, -10. Don't forget the signs of your numbers. And then 16. Okay, that's how we start synthetic division. This is the hardest part. Because this is going to actually make sure that you get it right, or give you the option to get it right or completely wrong. So I set it up correctly. Whenever you have your synthetic division, the first one always goes down. Always. Okay, so that one always goes down, and then you multiply your outsides. So you multiply those. 2 times 1 is 2. Now you're gonna add those 2. Whenever you have something on the inside, you add. Whenever you have two numbers on the outside, you multiply. So that's gonna be what? 2 times, or 2 plus -10 is -8. Now right here, 2 times -8 is -16. Now 16 minus 16 is 0. There we go. We're done. At this point, we just go ahead and we start labeling. We always start from right and we work our way to the left. Your first number on the right is always your remainder. And then after that's your constant. And after that, we start adding x's. So the first one's x. If I had another number, it'd be x squared. If I had another one, it'd be x cubed. So now we just write it. So it's going to be x minus 8. And that's my answer. But you're saying we don't have to write the remainder because it has a 0. But let's say we didn't have that 0. So you would go ahead and do plus, because in this case 0 can be plus or negative. So I'm just going to do plus. And then you always write it as a fraction. So it's going to be 0 over whatever your binomial is. In this case is x minus 2. And we could write it that way, but due to the fact that we have 0 on the top, we don't really have to. So that's why we didn't put it on our answer. So my answer is just x minus 8. And that's it. That is how you do every single assignment for the makeup. It's not very hard. That's all the work I really have to see, and that's it. So make sure you do show your work, because if you don't, I cannot give you credit. So I say it a lot, but please make sure you show all your work whenever you show it to me. That way I can give you those hundreds. Okay? Well, have a great day, guys.